Wow, we've got an exciting session to kick off TechX 2025. Our keynote speaker for today is Dejan Milvic. Again, the handsome man on the screen with me, whose name I'm going to mispronounce, but is a dear, dear friend of mine and a great Ed Academy member. He is also a fellow of HPE at Hewlett Packard in California. He used to work for the OSF Research Institute in Cambridge and has done so many things. He's got degrees and degrees and degrees. We could go over those. That could take a while, though, and you've got lots to talk about, right? He is also over 280 papers and 2 books. He's got 94 granted and 67 pending patents. Busy fellow, and an IEEE fellow. And he's part of the ACM Distinguished Engineer and HKN and UNISEX member. He was on 9 PhD thesis committees, and he's mentored over 80 interns. Dan was the president of the IEEE Computer Society, a good partner of HKN, thank you so much, and a presidential candidate for IEEE in 2019. He is the editor-in-chief of IEEE Computing Now and Distributed Systems Online, and he has served on many editorial boards and TCPs. He has led many industry, government, university collaborations such as OpenCyrus and New Operating Systems over many, many years and decades, and just has such a wealth of experience. As I said, dear friend, amazing speaker, and we're just so privileged to have you here with us today to share your technology predictions and megatrends. This is going to be an awesome session, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Always pleasure to be here. I don't know what HKN would do without you. So today, I'll be talking about technology predictions and megatrends, and this is papers, either coming from journals or conferences. The documents we produce here are presentations and press releases. That's what we do. So the main part of this presentation is about technology predictions, which we've done for over 15 years within Computer Society, and then megatrends, which we have been working on within IEEE Future Directions in the past, maybe 3 to 4 years. So why predictions? Why in the first place? Well, they are very useful, powerful, can be fun. Predictions are essential in business. If you know what to expect, if we knew about tariffs, companies would have prepared much better earlier. Military, those who know what opponents are planning to do, they can prepare better. Healthcare, you can cure your patients if you know what's behind the scenes and what is happening next. So those who can predict, they are ahead of others. They have a strategic advantage. So who does predictions in the world? Well, there are many. Every year in the beginning of the year, Gartner issues their predictions for the following year. Forrester does, Frost & Sullivan do megatrends, MIT Technology Review, Accenture, many, many, many others. So how did we get into this business of doing predictions? Well, I clearly remember in 2010 on the East Coast, I was at one government contractor where IEEE Computer Society held their industry advisory board meeting. And at the end of the meeting, marketing director at that time, Chris Jensen, asked the audience, once the meeting was almost over, can you tell me what's hot in the industry? And so we all raised our hands and we spoke. And so that's the first year. Next year, same meeting on the West Coast. We already started organizing. You know, engineers like to organize themselves. We brought the yellow Post-it notes. We put it on the board, etc. So we came up with it. The first a year ago was used for being able to predict their and supplement their editorial reviews and planning. This year, they issued a small report. The following year, we already combined correlation between various predictions. And you know, engineers, you let them loose, they start immediately creating graphs. So in 2014, our first graph was mean likelihood versus mean desirability of those technologies that we proposed. We also categorized them. The following year, I was never happy with graphs, so we tweaked them even more. We did impact versus likelihood and express color coding with prediction confidence. Then we have the market size and our confidence versus successful prediction. Didn't like that either. The following year, 2019, we introduced the colors as maturity. And finally, what appears to have stick is this graph that we approximately in 2020 came up with, maybe a little bit earlier, where on the x-axis we have the likelihood of success of a technology in that year versus impact on humanity that it can make in general. And then we have introduced the color coding, which we like to call tomato color coding, which goes from dark to red, where red is mature, and dark black or green, light green, etc. It's like how tomato gets ripe. It expresses the maturity at that stage, and then the size of the bubble is the market adoption. And then we added a tweak around it when we introduced Megatrends, which is the circle around it. So that's the history how we did it. You can download the Megatrends report that we issued in 2024 and the most recent technology predictions, which we issued just in January. Here are the URLs. You'll get this presentation, hopefully. So first, I'll talk a little bit, and I'm going to go very fast. I'm going to talk about the megatrends, the work that was done last year and issued. It's result of about 50 and something people. These people are here on this picture. It's around the world, around technologies, societies across IEEE. I always like to mention our friend Roberto Soracco, who we lost in this whole process. So why do we do megatrends? We believe that they influence humanity in many ways, and we identified 3 megatrends. If there are many more, then there won't be megatrends, they'll just be trends. So we identified digital transformation, sustainability, and AI. We originally called it AGI, but we, in the meanwhile, settled to AI. So what is a megatrend? I'll just read you the first definition, that it is both the sum of individual trends and guiding force. This usually leads to perception that influences its components. So it means when you have many trends, they together comprise megatrends, and that megatrend is what is determining and influencing all other individual technologies. And they have many factors: technological, economical, social, ecological. They are not temporary, fashionable, coming from a single focus or interest to small region. Rather, they are global, critical enough that they require some regulation encompassing multiple technologies. So we have a process that I won't go into detail, but we try to aim for diversity, geographical, gender, technical fit. And we have a little process where we first propose technologies, we downsize to manageable number, then we grade them. In the process, we convert some, and then we evaluate them for those criteria that I mentioned on that tomato diagram. Some people asked us, well, are human rights, ethics, DEI also megatrends? Well, they're in our opinion core principles. And these 3 megatrends, they influence each other. However, these are technology megatrends. They're also economical, ecological, socio-political, and they all play into each other. You have seen how various aspects like health, they influence technology, how wars influence, how AI influence all other economical, socio-political, and ecological. And within technology megatrends, they also influence each other. And you can see how digital transformation, for example, enables more control points for sustainability, enables clear separation and models, opportunity to automate. In other words, they are all dependent. While technology megatrends follow a typical Gartner curve, because megatrends are comprised of many technologies, they follow S-curve. And if you think about integration of multiple Gartner hype curves, you will eventually get something like S-curve. While technology trends are a few years of evolution, up to 10 years, megatrends, there are multiple decades. We coin here 20 decades, but they can go much longer. Within IEEE, they also influence other engagements that we have. So this is kind of the workflow that I envision, which is happening in practice, not literally, but figuratively and individually. So technology trends, They influence our understanding of megatrends, which influence initiatives that we take, which influence the roadmaps that we have started creating as of recently, which then can influence standards, and each of them influence each other. So it's pretty complex landscape. A lot of people, as we were developing these megatrends, were telling me, Dan, I don't know what you think, but quantum is a megatrend, and you can believe me or not, but you have to trust me. And for this reason, and there are other examples, some people believe health is megatrend, et cetera, et cetera. For that reason, I created this diagram, which clearly delineates what are grand challenges, such as health well-being, what are application of technologies, such as digital health, what are emerging technologies, such as specifics of the health, and then megatrends. And as I keep on saying, there could only be a few megatrends, otherwise they're not megatrends. They're most likely important emerging technologies like digital health is, or like quantum computing is. Because it's really hard to track what's going on with megatrends, they're so high level. In order to understand them better, we dug a little bit deeper. So we identified 6 technologies that comprise these megatrends that we decided to follow and potentially update, maybe phase out, maybe introduce new ones. And I'm not going to read them. You can see them here. But these were those that we identified about 2 years ago and released them a year ago. We also did the same analysis for them as we've done for individual technologies. And you can see how we compare them in terms of likelihood of technology success, impact to humanity, as well as market adoption and maturity. But these graphs are only interesting as far as you can use them. One way to use them is to understand what are the outliers. While most of these technologies are correlated in the middle of this diagonal, there are some that have more impact to humanity than likelihood of succeeding. And these we believe are worthwhile for being sponsored by government. So for example, genomics, decarbonization, wearable implants, or sustainable manufacturing, they have not been as adopted by industry as much, or not as broadly. Some are, like genomics. But they have substantial impact to humanity. Others, on the other hand, while they don't have as much impact on humanity, they are ripe for adoption in industry, and they are good candidates for industrialization. These include ubiquitous connectivity, which is already adopted, smart environments, generative AI, which in the last 2 years have by leaps and bounds advanced and probably heading all the way here, and then digital twins, which have also advanced in the last couple of years. We also present standard deviation primarily to showcase where we have least confidence, such as trusted computing, decarbonization, genomics, wearables, space technologies, versus most confidence, such as electrification, sustainable IT, healthcare, ubiquitous connectivity. Where we have most confidence, we believe that these technologies will happen, as opposed that we have diverse opinions. We also try to predict how long it will take, what is the horizon until broad commercial adoption. And you can see that there are also opportunities here for governments, for academia, for out-of-box thinking at the top, for professional organizations such as IEEE, or industry. Those that are closer to adoption, they are more likely to be adopted and transferred to industry. There's another way how we can present it by simple diagram. Lots of people are visual, and they better understand it here. See what are the outskirts of these circles versus what is inside. We also roll them up, and there's no surprise that they have similar size in terms of market adoption. What is interesting in this slide is the color coding. You can see that, needless to say, digital transformation, which has been for a while, has already brought adoption. Sustainability has maturity, and artificial intelligence is emerging, and that's in a big scheme of events. We also provide the grades that we've given them, there are many ways how you can do it, but we grade them from A to F, and the grades are over there for each one of them. We convert back and forth, and we show correlation. You can see all of that, so I'm not going to stop and discuss it, but you can see all of that in the reports that I provided links to. As I said, those megatrends, trends, categorizations are only interesting as much as insights that you can make out of those. So some of the insights are what are the most likely advancement in market maturity, such as ubiquitous connectivity communications. So that's worthwhile investing by industry. Um, what has highest potential for impact on humanity? Genomics. What is of concern is that technologies with large impact to humanity but fewer chances should be recommended to be uh, sponsored by governments. We have one first question: is cybersecurity considered a mega trend? I would not. I would consider cybersecurity a technology trend that is applied to many other technologies, but I wouldn't. Going on, we can see that digital transformation continues strong. Sustainability is gaining momentum with generative AI and AGI megatrends, which are on fire, influencing all other technologies. And there's a lot of cross pollination among megatrends and underlying technologies. Um, One other interesting aspect, especially for young professional, is where should I work? What should I get educated for if I'm already employed? And we took a liberty to showcase what is the trending for each one of these. So we prioritize in what is substantially accelerating, such as supervision of automation, digital transformation, multi-objective optimizations in sustainability, and AI programmers in AI. What is on upswing is analytics, measuring precursor to management, and data scientists. What continues is pre-sales, system integrators, designers for sustainability, solution architects. These are professions that will continue no matter what technologies exist to be there. Some that see reduction are in maintenance, which is taken over by AI quite a bit, end-to-end lifecycle designers and support, and which are dramatically going down, are operators, sustainability oversight, system administrator. They are all ripe for automation, and you can see agentic AI, AI in general, they are quite a bit of now deployed. Uh, because of our work, we were accepted to organize a panel at South by Southwest. That was last year, not this year. And we held a panel which was extremely well attended, even though it was the last day. I was afraid no one will be there the last day because it's a crazy week in Austin. But we have a long lines of people. We had interesting panel. I was moderating it. We have Jeff Egan, who was recruited for Amazon, Roxana Senom, contractor from Argentina, Anita Patel from IEEE, past Computer Society president. A lot of questions. You can see the theme was, is AI sign for prosperity or doom for human workforce? And as you've seen in the previous diagram, AI helps in certain areas and will help grow professional opportunities. In others, it will just reduce it. Another interesting insight we've observed is, so we've done our own estimates how we compare technologies, but then we wanted to see what does Google have to say about it, what does IEEE Explore has to say, and what US Patent Office has to say. And so we've done queries. These queries were done sometimes in the beginning, in January 2024. All three were done at the same time. And at that point, you can see that digital transformation was not as trending on Google Trends, that artificial intelligence was trending, but sustainability was at the top of trending at that point. It may change if we do it this year, but at that time, sustainability was at the top. In Explore, AI was literally on fire. It looks like everyone was writing papers on AI, be it in magazines, transactions, conferences. And sustainability was second by trailing by a large mark, and digital transformation was all the way down. But then if we go to USPTO and inquiry, you can see that digital transformation was all the way at the top, AI was trailing, and sustainability was somewhere in the middle. There are reasons why these three differ. It's not that any one of them is wrong. They each take a different angle. Google Trends is the measure of popularity. The Explore is how our researchers, technologists feel about and how they follow trends. And USPTO usually have a lag of about 2 years. So when you file your patent application, let alone disclosure, it takes about 18 months until it's published, and then some time until it's allowed or not, and then patent granted. So there's a lag. I'm sure if we measure this in the future, 2 years from now, AI would probably be substantially higher than this. But this reflected, and that's why this trending, predictions, forecasting are a large function of time. That's why it's important to understand this. So there's some general recommendations. I won't go into too much detail here because I want to get to the second topic. But some of those that are non-specific to what I already said is that all these three technology megatrends are deeply intertwined. They should be considered together. The new quality of service aspects that are being introduced, such as bias, trustworthiness, misinformation, and then megatrends need to be supported with broad dissemination activity to avoid splitting knowledge. And then finally, one of the challenges is the speed of change. It's much faster than humans could adapt to. So that could create fear, aggression. So broad education is really required. We went even so far to make targeted recommendations to industry, government, academia, and professional organizations based on our findings. You can read them. I'm not going to read them, but I think it's very useful for even us and IEEE, where we play different roles, but also in our roles as either academics or a professional from industry or from government. We also took the freedom to make recommendations to different roles we play from the perspective of end user, developer, CxO, meaning those who funds efforts, or investors who fund other investors and other companies. We went into a little bit of detail describing digital transformation with some categorization. You can also read more details in various papers, and we describe them in terms of problems, demand, opportunities, time frame, impact, and sustainable solution business opportunity, especially from the perspective of enablers and inhibitors. And we've done similar thing for sustainability. You can read more in a National Academy of Engineering Bridge article we wrote about sustainability for smart grids, and then the same description here. For AI, I'll spend a little bit more time in this categorization of narrow AI, general intelligence, and super intelligence, and how they are categorized. But one interesting tidbit from the meetings we held, and we usually spend 2-hour meeting during the IEEE board series, was when I presented original table, and the table was largely pessimistic. And one of very smart guy in the audience said, well, Dan, you don't take into account the fact that AGI adoption can fail. And that wouldn't be the first time. When I was doing my PhD thesis, I wanted to do AI in thesis in AI, and it was a good choice not to, because AI went down. It became AI winter, only to come back in full swing. And then there you can see what are the pessimistic, optimistic outcomes. Largely, we all believe that AI is a tool that could help us more. We just need to adapt to it. There are some surprising insights. I'll let you read it. But some of those that are interesting are that, for example, the future skills trending, replacing IT support with AI programming, sustainability oversight, with multiple objective optimization operations with supervised automation. So it doesn't mean that some of these IT skills will go away. They'll just change. So we need to adapt to it. And then some of the transformative technologies, maybe a little bit longer term, are computer brain interfaces. You've already seen that Elon Musk and others are implanting chips in human brains. energy storage, which could really be transformative across the board, and then genomics. And I'll skip some of these. I'll switch now. I have about 15 more minutes, and then I'll leave some questions leave some time for questions. I want to talk about the technology predictions. Like for Megatrends, there's a large team that worked on it, so it's not just my and opinion of a few friends of mine, but it's these about 56 people who came together to provide their opinion. And they came from all around the world. And we use this map. Every year we try to improve a little bit. This map was really useful because, and that's why we spend a lot of time trying to come up with different interpretation, like all these diagrams that I showed. Uh, we, when we did this map, and I really have to credit Linda Wilson for creating it, I didn't realize we didn't have anyone from China, which is a big part of the world. So we added one in the very last moment, and then we didn't have from other parts of the world. We've done the same thing. And we also try to do the diversity across academia, government, and industry. I can already see that I need to add more people from government. If you will, all these people were volunteers, or most of them, but we had one employee from professional organization IEEE who participated. There's opportunity to bring from other organizations, and we'll try to do so. We have followed the similar process, so I won't repeat it. Here are the 22 technologies which are most recent in January, and even then there were so much changes within these few months. And I think we hit it very right with LLM deployment, where we said that we will see deployment of new types of language models, such as small language models, exotic, special purpose models. That's just um, uh, when new models came from various companies, Quen and others, drone adoption, which is exemplified in the wars, and many others. And so here are these technologies that we predicted. There's no point in reading them. In order to make it more memorable, we put them in this semi-architectural diagram, and you can see that there are things from energy to applied computing to non-functional characteristics to user interfaces, applied AI, verticals. Usually there's a lot of, to the point of gentleman who asked about cybersecurity, Jonathan Taglia, there's usually quite a bit of cybersecurity. This year we didn't have too many. We had missed disinformation, which is, and data feudalism, which are one way of representing cybersecurity, or one aspect of cybersecurity. We created this diagram that we spoke about. And again, as I said, the outliers are interesting, which have the lowest chance of success, like space computing. It doesn't mean that space computing is not important, but compared to these other technologies, it has the lowest impact on humanity at this time. It may have tremendous impact at later time. Largest impact on humanity, in our opinion, was AI-assisted drug discovery. Most mature was drone adoption, unfortunately, for different bad purposes. And then highest chances of success, largest market adoption was in LLM deployment, which is not surprising. Again, outliers in terms of opportunity for government investment is for tools and policies for AI regulation, which is not surprising. Brain-computer interfaces, largest opportunity for adoption by industry in drones, LLM deployment, and AI agents. Again, not surprising. We also looked in terms of maturity, which are outliers. You can see that this light yellow trails back other light yellows, and this golden as well trails other golden. So this is next generation cyber warfare, which is another aspect of cybersecurity, Jonathan. And then here we have autonomous driving, which trails other aspects. But it's interesting that we have this functional safety and autonomous agents and autonomous vehicles, which is here. And then I provided rank ordered technologies by either likelihood of success, impact to humanity, maturity, market adoption, and commercial adoption. So you can see them as well. Correlation, you can see that there's not surprisingly large correlation between our predicted success in 2025 and maturity and market adoption. And then similar graph would showcase where we have least confidence and where we have most confidence, and as well as our horizons to commercial adoption. Now, what is new in this diagram is disruptions. Some of the disruptions, like post-COVID effects that still exist, have economical impact on the trends and megatrends in 2025. In terms of technological, it's Gen AI, wars and social political, hurricanes, rainfalls, earthquakes, in ecological. What has a little bit longer beyond 2025, which we identify, and these are really important for our planning, understanding. If you understand them, you can better predict things. And these include global south, scientific discovery, space commerce, and life expectancy. And these are all result of a lengthy discussion we held, 2-hour discussions we held at IEEE board meeting. And then we map them on megatrends, these technologies that we identify independently of megatrends, we then map them on the megatrends. And you can, the interesting observation is that, and that might be influenced by US, where sustainability has been downplayed, especially with the most recent administration, compared to digital transformation and AI, which are dominating. So you can see that there's some overlap, but there's very little sustainable computing taking place here in sustainability. So some of the insights are that there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of entanglement across social, economic, and political with technology. Insights for 2025 are, I'm not going to repeat these, which have the most and least influence. You can read them, and hopefully they can help you prepare for the future, and potentially take courses in LLM deployment, in LLMs in general, generative AI, etc. There's long-term opportunity in space computing. You've seen that all these low Earth orbit satellites are making tremendous impact on the war, unfortunately, but also in connectivity. I think United just announced that they'll provide connectivity through Musk's company to throughout their flights. So there are many already commercial impacts that they have. There are also many insights across the years where AI strengthens its dominance compared to previous years. We see continued controversy around misinformation. It goes up and down. And then there are longer term, broader opportunities such as small modular reactors, wearables, policies for AI regulation, next generation cyber warfare, etc. Similarly to previous to megatrends, we made recommendations for industry, government, academia, professional organizations, as well as end users, developers, CxO, and investors. We went in a little bit more detail here in terms of, for each one of these technologies, and a little bit broader, what are the impact on individual skill evolution. So for example, in terms of digital transformation, autonomous driving will have a decline for the skills, because you'll rely on autonomous driving. Wearables, they'll have tremendous, in our opinion, growth. Drone adoption will just continue. Brain-computer interface continue. Space computing will grow. So if these are the areas where you want to engage, that will be it, especially for wearables. IT energy convergence, smart agriculture, sustainable new battery chemistries, these all are promising. In AI, lots of opportunities, but some controversy like AI agents. Some jobs will go away, others will substantially grow. LLM deployment the same, and augmented artificial intelligence. And then we added also regulatory compliance, where you may want to engage in misdisinformation, data feudalism, and tools and policies for AI regulation. This is how we describe each of these technologies. And again, you can read them. I'm not going to go into too many details there. There's a question by Stephen. Yes, we'll make slides available. You can also learn more. There's a lot of articles that we wrote and that are written by others, so you can refer to them. You can educate yourself in these areas. There are recommended podcasts that I've been organizing, podcasts and webinars. Um, we've organized Industry Spotlight on Megatrends. This is available here, and many more will be. There's one on quantum computing that already took place. There's a little bit obsolete slide. Also, there's from Research to Reality podcast that I've been running for 7 years. There's a lot of related topics, including on technology predictions and megatrends. You can look it there, where you can hear not just from me, but from other forecasters like me. There's liquid cooling one, which is interesting on AI, climate model, digital twins, sustainability 101, quantum computing, and many more. Now, people are usually ask us, so how successful you are. And I'll give you some summary that I collected, which is the follow-on to the Megatrends prediction. The number of downloads was about, uh, that was a few months ago. I'm sure it's much larger now. Hopefully it'll be larger after this keynote. There's about over 4,000 downloads. Media coverage, there was tremendous media coverage. As I mentioned, we issue press release whenever we release these reports, because these reports, the Megatrends report took us 2 years to write. Technology predictions usually takes a few months to write. Even though it's a slide set, it still takes a lot of things, and I'll show you the spreadsheet, how it looks like. It's really a lot of effort there. So we have 26 earned media coverages. We had 4 interviews. This year, I'm opening up with this keynote. There are 3 more keynotes on this topic. People like to hear it. We were in the press all around the world. You can see here with the links. There's a lot of reach and impact in terms of press releases viewed, a lot of subscribers. IEEE Spectrum magazine ran interview article on this topic in November. I appeared in this podcast by this influencer, Evan Crystal. And then what is probably most interesting for me is when people use this for other purposes. So INASH invited me to give a keynote, but also after the keynote, they ran their whole annual planning using our model. So they divided themselves in 3 groups. They discussed AI, sustainability, and digital transformation. So their whole planning was ran around that. Earlier, many years ago, Computer Society did similar thing with our 2022 report, where they had 2 planning reports which last for 3 years based on that report, and a number of student competitions. So that's what I'm really proud of, how it is used. A similar report from Computer Society, their reach was about 400,000 people. There were a number of downloads, which is growing. This is over the years. There's a lot of pickup. The target audience is completely different. If you think about IEEE target audience, we have about 500,000 members, and there's about 5 million documents, and there's estimate about the similar number of the downloads or the people who download papers from Explore. Here we have about over 200 million target audience with these press releases. So completely different ball game, and that's what we were aiming at, because it's of general interest. And also these predictions, as you can see, we targeting them to resonate with IEEE tagline. IEEE's tagline is advancing technology for the benefit of humanity, which is exactly what we have on our x-axis, and that is technology, likelihood of technology success in 2025 this year, and how it impacts the humanity in that year. The other aspect of the impact we made is the number of other artifacts that we created. So beside these reports, there were special issues of IEEE Computer. There's ongoing review for 2025. This is the 6th year we got. We may even have 2 special issues because we received many submissions this year, record number of submissions. We have columns that happen every quarter in IEEE Computer. on the topics that are of deep relationship to our predictions. We have spotlights that I mentioned. We have all these other things, and some side articles like we had in a conference, the Art of Prediction article. We have another one this year. IEEE Design and Test magazine had ethics in sustainability. IT Professional published What Gets You Hired Now Will Not Get You Hired Then. I mentioned South by Southwest. We created a course, and there are these decadal reports which take about a few years to write. I mentioned earlier Computer Society report, and then Future Workforce report that was released in 2023. So in summary, this is my last slide. Thanks for bearing with me. Technologies will be continue to be critical in addressing, in preventing things like pandemics, wars, disasters. They help us in planning and recovering from major issues we may have. This year for Computer Society, we made 22 predictions. There were 18 predictions for 3 megatrends for Future Directions Megatrends report. There are some honorable mentions, and for Jonathan, you can see cybersecurity of data centers was honorable mention. It didn't make it in these 22 technologies this year. Machine unlearning was another interesting, and then recycling on clean energy solution and quantum HPC fusion were other ones. We'll continue to eliminate bias. I've been reading a lot of books on forecasting. One of the interesting things are signals that and how we can detect them, because they can help us with the best and how to differentiate for important trends for our forecasting. And to improve the depth and accuracy, we will continue to work with many experts. Most specifically, we are going to organize 4 sessions in Santa Clara Valley on site in my company, on site with about 30 people from across, again, industry, government, academia, and we will address some of the aspects that we weren't able to address over the past few years. Thank you very much, and I welcome your questions. We have about 7-8 minutes. The first question is, how do we ensure that AI doesn't cross into the detrimental super intelligence area? Well, obviously, there's no way how we can guess that. But what you're asking is, how can we enforce? And I want to bring that slide, so it will take me a minute to find it. Just bear with me for a second. I think that AI regulation is the key thing there. And that is one of the things that we suggest. So the question is, how do we ensure that AI doesn't cross into this super intelligence where we surpass human intelligence to superhuman omnipotence, just like in HAL 9000 in A Space Odyssey? As I was saying, there's no way we can ensure that other than help working with governments to do the regulation for that, and that is done from the very beginning. From the very beginning of the effort, as we're developing this AGI, we'll need to make sure that there are guardrails, that we make sure that it's trained, that there are some documents which will define principles. And I think that IEEE has already introduced some of these principles. There's a large document about design principles of AI. So there's a bunch of opportunities for academia, governments, and professional organizations to participate in that.
This has been amazing, Dehan. There's so much information to go, and you pack so much into such a short little time we gave you to present on so much information. I mean, I applaud the work that you've been doing over a number of years. I've been familiar with it, and we have been to many of your sessions. So thank you for really packing so much into a short time. And we'll make sure we'll get these slides. We'll make sure they're available. We can put them in the Computer Society's booth here on the on this platform on TechX, and we'll make sure they have all the download um, links so they can download the report, because the report's fascinating and it's a lot of stuff to go through. So you did a really great job, I think, you know, doing an intersection of it, particularly for this audience, because we've got Christine Miyachi coming on Friday as a
Yep.
keynote speaker. She's one of the people that was on your group, and she's going to talk about the intersection with health and other things. And Karen Panetta, another IEEE fellow with a tremendous amount of AI expert, she's going to be our keynote on Thursday. So I think we've got a real nice balance of experts coming up and talking about this. Or even coming up next, we've got like how it's going to replace more workers than you expect, and then another one about career growth in AI. So a lot of things that you touched on here. So I think a lot of people are curious about this, worried, concerned, looking for opportunities. But
Yep.
I think this is really fascinating.
And then if to the previous question, thanks for your kind words, Nancy. To the previous question, there's always a lot of fear when new technologies are introduced. If you
Mhm.
remember, when the first machines were introduced, there was a fear that they will completely replace humans, this
Mhm.
ludicrous movement. The same thing happened over and over. And it could be in locale when, for example, the US specifically lost supremacy in development of chips to Taiwan. There was concern. But both locale and globally humanity, they always find ways to get to the next level. And there will always be the next level higher where you can invest. So it will be
Mhm.
some sort of meta AI that we
Mhm.
will need to um, manage. There's another question. Was the unveiling of Microsoft's Majorana 1 or Google's Willow chips taken into consideration? I feel like these chips generated important discussions about the future of quantum computing. Thank you for your talk. Hector Gardia, thank you very much. They weren't taken into account. We will take them into account. We did take into account quantum, and we've been following, especially quantum, um, tremendous success. IEEE has this. I think Quantum Week is
Quantum
going to
Week, yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
Is either happening or is going to happen now. And we've been following that. But we also look at it in very narrower. So we are writing as we speak, like literally now. I'm supposed to work on it today, the rest of the day, about the future of supercomputing, where quantum can influence dramatically, and then AI comes afterwards as running on top of these infrastructures. So if we hadn't taken it into account directly in the development of these technologies, trends and megatrends, they certainly are taken into account in many other ways.
Yeah, there is so much. I can see how much stuff you tried to pack into this and just so many different perspectives and kind of trying to feed that out. I think that was interesting. I'm sure the spreadsheet is that you're working on is
Yeah,
tremendously large. You're gonna show
let
that a
me
little
just
bit, but
show it to you how it
the
looks like.
American
Uh,
yeah.
it's 30 size, so,
Mm,
and it doesn't look that spectacular, but it's a huge, and we've done it over the years. If
mhm,
I make it larger, I can't fit it. In order to be readable, I have two large
mhm,
screens
mhm.
in order
Yeah,
to see them. So
mhm. I
there's
know.
yeah, it may look like very superficial at the top, but there's a lot of analysis that
Mhm,
is taken into account. And the other thing is um, that we don't necessarily take. I mean, it's easy to. One of the questions that I expected is, why don't you just ask ChatGPT for the predictions? And we've done that, and we've done analysis, and it was like 1 for 1 in AI, and in sustainability it was like zero overlap. So I don't think that ChatGPT is still at that level that it can do predictions. They're pretty good in summarizing the past because they
mhm.
base their um, analysis and answers based on the past. But going into the future, it's still struggling. Anyways, we're getting close to the end. So Nancy, I don't want to take
No,
the
you're
time.
doing we're perfect. We're just about about to tie things up here in a second or two. But again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your time and all this amazing information. Like I said, we'll get the slides and we'll be happy to share this with students and all that attend. And we really appreciate the partnership we have with the Computer Society, who sponsored this talk and who is a real great partner for Etta Kapanu. throughout all the things that it does. We value that partnership and look to bring everyone more information as we open the doors to different thoughts, ideas, the ethics and the technologies, as well as the predictions and opportunities. Thank you, Dehan.
Thank you, Nancy, and thanks HKN and I'm HKN as well as computer science.
Yes, I
Bye.
know. Great.